You think you know your family until one wedding invitation changes everything. I'm 28F, and I just found out my sister has been planning her dream wedding for 8 months, and I'm not invited. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is why I'm not invited and what happened when I found out. Let me start from the beginning, because this story has layers like you wouldn't believe. My family always looked perfect from the outside. I'm Sarah, 28, married to my husband Jake for 3 years. My sister Emma is 26, and she's always been the golden child. I mean, always. Growing up, Emma could do no wrong. She was the cheerleader, the straight-A student, the one who never caused drama. Let's just say I was the challenging one. I went through a rebellious phase in high school, got a few piercings, dated guys my parents didn't approve of, and chose to study art instead of business like they wanted. But here's the thing. I thought we were past all that. I'm married now, I run my own successful graphic design business, I own my home, and I thought my family was proud of me. Emma and I weren't super close, but we got along fine at family gatherings. Or so I thought. 2 weeks ago, I was at my mom's house helping her organize old photo albums for what I thought was just a regular family project. That's when I saw it, a gorgeous wedding invitation sitting on the kitchen counter. Ivory cardstock, gold lettering, the works. My heart did a little flip thinking, oh, Emma must be showing mom invitation samples for ideas. I picked it up to look closer, and guys, my blood ran cold. It wasn't a sample. It was the invitation. Emma Catherine Miller and David James Richardson, request your presence. With a date just 2 months away, my hands started shaking. I called out to my mom, hey, this is really pretty. When did Emma decide on the final design? Mom came in wiping her hands on a dish towel and froze when she saw what I was holding. The look on her face. I'll never forget it. Pure panic. Sarah, honey, put that down. We need to talk. And that's when my world fell apart. My mom sat me down at the kitchen table, the same table where I used to do homework and where we had family meetings growing up. She couldn't look me in the eye. Sarah, there's something you need to know about Emma's wedding. Yeah, I can see she's finally set a date. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to help with whatever she needs. Mom took a deep breath. Honey, you're not invited. I laughed. Actually laughed. Because it was so ridiculous. What do you mean I'm not invited? I'm her sister. Emma made her decision about the guest list, and she felt it would be better if you weren't there. The kitchen started spinning. I gripped the edge of the table. Mom, this has to be a joke. Why wouldn't I be invited to my own sister's wedding? That's when she told me. And guys, I want you to prepare yourselves because this gets so much worse. Emma is concerned about your history affecting her special day. She's worried you might cause drama or draw attention away from her. What history? What drama? Mom, I've been nothing but supportive of her relationship with David. She's concerned about your appearance, your husband Jake's background, and she doesn't want any complications on her wedding day. I felt like I'd been slapped. My appearance? You mean my tattoos? The ones I've had for 5 years that have never been a problem before. Mom looked uncomfortable. Emma wants a very traditional, elegant wedding. She's worried about how it might look in photos. And Jake's background? What does that even mean? This is where it gets really ugly, guys. My husband Jake grew up in foster care. His parents died when he was young, and he bounced around the system until he aged out. He worked his ass off to put himself through college, became a teacher, and is honestly the kindest, most genuine person I've ever met. But because he doesn't come from money and doesn't have family connections, Emma apparently sees him as unsuitable for her wedding. I pressed my mom for the truth because none of this made sense. Emma and I had never had a major fight. We'd always been civil, if not close. Finally, Mom broke down and told me everything. Apparently, Emma had been building resentment toward me for years. She told my parents that she felt I had overshadowed her at every major family event with my attention-seeking behavior. Want to know what this attention-seeking behavior was? At my cousin's wedding 2 years ago, I helped the bride fix her dress when it tore, and several guests thanked me and said I was so helpful. Emma interpreted this as me stealing her spotlight because she had wanted to be the helpful one. At my grandmother's 80th birthday party, I gave a speech that made Grandma cry happy tears. Emma was furious because she thought I was showing off and making her look bad for not preparing a speech. At Christmas last year, I brought homemade gifts for everyone that I'd spent weeks making. Emma was angry because her store-bought gifts looked cheap in comparison, even though everyone loved what she gave them. Are you seeing the pattern here? Emma had been keeping score of every interaction, every family gathering, every moment where someone might have paid attention to me instead of her. But it gets worse. So much worse. After talking to my mom, I was devastated, but I thought maybe I could work it out with Emma directly. I called her that night. Emma, Mom told me about the wedding situation. Can we please talk about this? Sarah, I don't know what there is to discuss. I've made my decision about my guest list, but I'm your sister. I don't understand what I did wrong. You really don't know, do you? Her voice was ice cold. You never know when you're being the center of attention, when you're making everything about you. I was crying at this point. Emma, I swear I don't know what you're talking about. If I did something to hurt you, I'm sorry. Please just tell me what I can do to fix this. You can respect my decision and stay away from my wedding. Then she hung up on me. I was devastated. I called Jake at work, sobbing, and he came home immediately. He held me while I cried and told me we'd figure it out together. That's when I decided to reach out to my extended family. Surely they would think this was as crazy as I did? I sent a message to our family group chat, the one with my parents, Emma, me, my 2 aunts, uncle, and my 4 cousins. I wrote, "Hey everyone, I just found out about Emma's wedding and that I'm not invited. I'm really hurt and confused. Did I do something wrong that I'm not aware of? I love Emma, and I just want to understand so I can make this right." Guys, what happened next destroyed me. The responses started coming in fast. Aunt Linda, Sarah, Emma has every right to invite who she wants to her wedding. It's her day. Cousin Mike, maybe this is a chance for some family reflection? Uncle Tom, weddings are expensive. Maybe she had to make tough choices. Cousin Jessica, I think we should all just respect Emma's decision and not make this harder for her. Not one person said this is wrong or you should be at your sister's wedding. But then Emma responded, and this message broke me. Emma, since Sarah decided to make this public, I'll be honest. I've tried to be patient with Sarah's need to be the center of attention for years. Every family event becomes about her in some way. My wedding is the most important day of my life, and I refuse to let it be overshadowed. Additionally, I want my wedding photos to reflect the elegant, traditional family image that David and I are building together. I hope everyone can respect my decision. The family chat went silent after that. No one defended me. No one said anything. I stared at my phone in complete shock. My own family was letting Emma publicly humiliate me and agreeing with her. Jake's response and the investigation. Jake was furious when I showed him the messages. Sarah, this is cruel and it's wrong. No one should be excluded from their sister's wedding for such shallow reasons. But then Jake said something that changed everything. Something doesn't add up here. This level of resentment doesn't come from nowhere. There's something else going on. He was right to be suspicious. Jake started doing some digging. He called his friend Marcus, who works with David, Emma's fiancé. What Marcus told him made everything make sense, but also made it so much worse. Apparently, David comes from old money. His family is very concerned with appearances, social status, and what they call family pedigree. His mother had been pressuring Emma about her family, asking pointed questions about us, our backgrounds, our suitability for their social circle. David's family had specifically mentioned that they were concerned about me and Jake being at the wedding. Not because of anything we'd done, but because my tattoos don't fit their family image. Jake's foster care background doesn't align with their social expectations. My art business isn't prestigious enough compared to their family of doctors and lawyers. They were worried their friends and family would judge them for the kind of people we are. Emma, desperate to fit into David's world and gain his family's approval, had thrown me under the bus completely. But here's the kicker. She couldn't just say, David's family doesn't like you. So, she created this whole narrative about me being attention-seeking and problematic to justify excluding me. Armed with this information, I decided to call Emma one more time. But instead of begging, I was going to tell her exactly what I knew. Emma, I know about David's family's concerns about me and Jake. Silence. I know this isn't really about me seeking attention. This is about you trying to impress people who think we're not good enough for them. Sarah, I don't know what you're talking about. Emma, please don't lie to me. We're sisters. If you want to exclude me to make David's family happy, just be honest about it. Don't make up stories about my behavior to justify it. That's when Emma finally exploded.
Fine. Yes.
David's family has standards, and yes, they're concerned about certain family members reflecting poorly on our union. Is that what you want to hear? That your choices have consequences? That your rebellious phase and your husband's background matter to some people? So, you're willing to throw away our relationship for people who judge us based on superficial things? I'm willing to do what's necessary to build the life I want with the man I love. If that means making hard choices about my wedding, then that's what I'll do. Emma, after the wedding, then what? Are you planning to cut me out of your life permanently? What about when you have kids? What about family holidays? Another silence. Then, I guess we'll figure that out as we go. She was literally willing to destroy our family for acceptance from people who saw us as beneath them. I told my parents everything Jake and I had discovered. I thought surely they would be upset that Emma was choosing David's classist family over her own sister. I was wrong. My dad's response was, Sarah, Emma is trying to build a good life for herself. Sometimes that requires making difficult decisions. My mom said, maybe this is an opportunity for you to think about how your choices affect others. I couldn't believe it. My own parents were prioritizing Emma's social climbing over basic family loyalty. So I called a family meeting. I demanded that everyone, my parents, Emma, my aunts and uncle, sit down and have an honest conversation about what was happening. The meeting was held at my parents' house last Sunday. Everyone came except Emma, who said she was too busy with wedding planning to deal with unnecessary drama. I laid out everything. I explained how I discovered David's family's concerns, how Emma had lied about her reasons for excluding me, and how hurt I was that my own family was supporting this decision. My Aunt Linda said, Sarah, you have to understand that Emma is trying to start her marriage on the right foot. David's family's opinion matters for their future. My Uncle Tom added, maybe you and Jake could consider toning down some of your choices to be more supportive of Emma's new life. Toning down our choices? Like what, exactly? Well, maybe you could cover your tattoos more, and Jake could, I don't know, be less forthcoming about his background when you're around David's family. I was speechless. They wanted me to hide who I am and wanted my husband to be ashamed of surviving a childhood trauma he had no control over. But then my mom said something that broke me completely. Sarah, you've always been the difficult one. Even as a child, you demanded more attention, caused more problems, and made things harder for everyone else. Emma has always been easygoing and cooperative. Maybe it's time you learned to be more like her. More like her? You want me to be more like someone who throws her sister away for social status. I want you to be more considerate of how your actions affect your family. That's when I realized that this wasn't new. This wasn't about the wedding. This was about years of my family seeing me as the problematic child and Emma as the perfect one, and when push came to shove, they'd always choose her. I stood up and said, I can see that Emma has already made her choice, and apparently all of you have too. I hope her wedding is everything she dreams of, and I hope David's family's approval is worth losing her sister over. I walked out and haven't spoken to any of them since. Jake and I have been dealing with this for 2 weeks now. He's been incredible, supportive, angry on my behalf, and constantly reminding me that their treatment of me says everything about them and nothing about my worth as a person. I posted about this situation in a few online communities to get perspective and see if I was overreacting. The response has been overwhelming. Hundreds of people have shared similar stories about being excluded from family events for not fitting someone's image. People have told me about being uninvited from weddings for being divorced, for their weight, for their partner's race or religion, for their financial situation, or for their sexual orientation. One woman told me her sister uninvited her from her wedding because she was pregnant and would ruin the photos. Another person said their brother excluded them because they were wheelchair-bound and it would be inconvenient for the venue. But here's what's been most validating. Multiple people who work in the wedding industry have reached out to tell me that this kind of family exclusion is becoming more common, especially when one family member is marrying into a wealthy or prestigious family. A wedding photographer told me she shot weddings where family members were literally asked to stand in the back during photos so they wouldn't be prominently featured. A wedding planner said she's had clients ask her to seat certain family members at less visible tables. Emma's wedding is in 6 weeks. I haven't received any communication from her or my parents asking me to reconsider or apologize. My cousins have been liking Emma's wedding posts on social media, but haven't reached out to me at all. Jake and I have decided to plan a weekend getaway during Emma's wedding. We're going to go somewhere beautiful, celebrate our own marriage and our own values, and surround ourselves with people who love us for who we are. But I'd be lying if I said this doesn't hurt. I keep thinking about all the times Emma and I played wedding as kids, how we used to plan that we'd be each other's maid of honor someday. I think about the sister I thought I had versus the person she's revealed herself to be. The hardest part is feeling like I never really knew my family at all. How long have they been seeing me as the problematic one? How many conversations have happened behind my back about my choices, my husband, my life? I keep wondering, am I really that difficult? Am I attention-seeking and problematic like they say? Jake keeps reminding me of who I actually am. I'm the person who drove 4 hours to help my cousin move when no one else could. I'm the person who spent my savings to help my parents with home repairs last year. I'm the person who organized my grandmother's surprise birthday party and made sure everyone felt included. But then I think, maybe I am too much. Maybe my tattoos are inappropriate. Maybe I do take up too much space in conversations. Maybe my success with my business does make others feel insecure. The rational part of my brain knows that none of those things justify being excluded from my sister's wedding. But the hurt, wounded part of me wonders if they're right about me. I honestly don't know how to move forward with my family after this. Emma will be married soon, and then what? Do I pretend this never happened at Christmas? Do I send birthday cards and act like everything is normal? My parents have made it clear they support Emma's decision. My extended family has chosen to stay neutral, which feels like choosing Emma's side. I'm grieving the family I thought I had, and the sister I thought Emma was. I'm angry at the injustice of it all. I'm hurt beyond words that people who claim to love me could treat me this way. But I'm also starting to feel something else. Relief. Relief that I don't have to pretend anymore. Relief that I don't have to walk on eggshells around people who apparently see me as a problem to manage. Relief that Jake and I can build our own family traditions with people who actually value us. Actually, I need to add something that happened just yesterday because this story takes another turn. My cousin Jessica, the one who originally said I should respect Emma's decision, called me yesterday afternoon. She was crying. "Sarah, I need to tell you something, and Emma is going to kill me for this." Apparently, Emma had called Jessica in a panic 2 days ago. David's family is now questioning other aspects of our family that they find unsuitable. They're concerned about my parents' middle-class background, my uncle's divorce, and my aunt's remarriage to someone they consider beneath their social standards. Emma is now worried that David's family will continue to find problems with our entire family, not just me and Jake. She's starting to realize that no matter how many family members she excludes or how much she tries to change herself, it might never be enough for them. Jessica said Emma asked her, "Do you think I made a mistake with Sarah?" David's mom is now asking about why my parents don't belong to a country club. But here's the thing. Jessica told Emma she needed to call me and apologize, and Emma said, "I can't. I've gone too far. Sarah will never forgive me now." So Emma knows she was wrong, but she's too proud or too scared to admit it and try to fix it. Jessica begged me to reach out to Emma, but honestly, I don't think I can. Emma made a calculated decision to sacrifice our relationship for acceptance from people who were never going to fully accept our family anyway. The fact that she's now realizing her mistake doesn't undo the months of planning a wedding without her sister, or the cruel things she said about me and Jake. I'm sharing this story because I want people to know that family isn't always the safe space we expect it to be. Sometimes the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally are the first ones to ask you to change who you are. If you're dealing with family members who are asking you to hide parts of yourself, minimize your achievements, or pretend to be someone you're not for their comfort, you're not alone, and you're not asking too much by wanting to be accepted as you are. Emma chose social status over family loyalty. My parents chose keeping the peace over standing up for what's right. My extended family chose neutrality over justice. I'm choosing self-respect over family approval, and while it hurts like hell right now, I know it's the right choice. Jake and I are planning an amazing life together, surrounded by people who celebrate us rather than tolerate us. We're going to have our own traditions, our own chosen family, and our own definition of what matters in life. And maybe someday Emma will realize what she gave up. But that's her journey to take, not mine to wait around for. The wedding that was supposed to be the beginning of Emma's perfect life might just be the beginning of her realizing that perfection built on excluding the people who love you isn't perfect at all. Update: I'll keep you posted if anything else develops, but for now, I'm focusing on healing and moving forward. Thanks for listening to my story and for all the support. Sometimes strangers on the internet show you more kindness than your own family, and that's been a beautiful reminder that there are good people in this world. What do you think? Did Emma have the right to exclude me from her wedding? Should I try to reach out to her before the wedding? Let me know in the comments. I could really use different perspectives on this situation.